Welcome to another RentalTrax how-to video. We're continuing to set up our layouts and create our paperwork. So part of RentalTrax is we're going to automatically create your internal paperwork, so your pick sheet, your pull sheet, whatever you want to call it, your customer paperwork, so that might be your proposal or quote sheet, your credit note if you're going to apply credit to your client, and your invoice that's going to be sent to the client as well. So we want to customize the layout so it makes sense for our brand, and that's what we're going to do now. You're going to go to Settings over in the top right, down to Layout, and over to Order Layout. Okay, and now this can be the most confusing part about your setup, so make sure you take your time, follow along with what we're doing, and make sure that the paperwork starts to look the way that you want to. We've tried to make it as simple as possible, but this is important to make sure you go through it step by step. So the first thing you're going to do is select the different order types that you have in your system. So if you've created multiple order types already, you can see them listed here. If you haven't, this might just say order, and that's okay. What you can do inside of our system is you can customize the look and feel of your paperwork first before creating multiple order types, because you can duplicate the work that you've done. So if you only have order listed in here and you're just getting set up, that's okay. Make the changes so that you don't have to do it over and over again. What you can see in our test system is multiple order types, because I can then go further and customize each piece of paper based on the client type, and that takes our paperwork another step further. So I can select the different order types I like, and then here in the layout type, you can see our 4 different pieces of paper. Like I mentioned, your pull sheet or your pick sheet, the customer's paperwork, the invoice, and the credit notes. So for now, let's edit the wedding and event order type and the customer layout. So what we can see here over on the right hand side is a preview, and you can always update the preview using the preview button here. But this is generally what our paperwork looks like. So you can see the RentalTrax logo in the top right hand side, information of our company. On the left hand side where it says customer underscore company, customer name, customer surname, all this information, these are dynamic fields. So what's going to happen is the system is going to automatically pull that information and fill it out on your paperwork for you so that it's listed here so you can see it. Same thing with the booking order ID. So we enter the dynamic fields so that we don't have to manually put in all that information every single time. And you can see down here it's got the product section and then some more information down at the bottom. So you can see it all laid out here on the right hand side. Over on the left, this is where it gets a little bit confusing, so we'll try and simplify it for you. Where it says block, this is where we've divided the paperwork into different sections, so you can place the information on the paperwork based on these blocks, so it's a little bit more organized. You can see here where it says products, that denotes this section here where it starts with text, price, discount, these columns. That's the products section, so it's just there to show you where the page splits and starts showing the product. So consider that the middle of your page. So what information do you want above it? What information do you want below? You can see up here there's some information where it says 405 system logo, 406 system company information. These are different fields that have already been created in the system. So in order to place those where you want, it's as simple as drag and drop. So if I wanted the logo in the top left, for example, I can click here and drag it over to the top left of my screen. Then when I update my preview, I'll be able to see that the logo is now on the left hand side and everything is adjusted. So everything is drag and drop. Same thing from the fields not in use column on the left hand side. If I wanted to enter in, let's say, the invoice payment due date, I could drag it in and place it wherever I like, and then update my preview, and it will have that information added to my layout for me. You can see that right here. So this information, it's all drag and drop to move it around. If you'd like to delete a field, just use the red X button, or what I recommend is you just drag it over to the fields not in use, because you don't know if you might want to use that again in the future. In order to edit a field, like if I wanted to edit the information we're getting for my customer information, because you can see here, it just has my customer's company name and email. What if I wanted to have the phone number? I can click this little pencil icon beside the red X, and that allows me to edit the field. So you can see it's a dynamic field. It's got the customer information is the title of this specific field, but on the right hand side is the information that goes into it. So if I wanted to add the telephone number of my client, I could simply use the drop down menu, go down and find the customer telephone right here, and now it will add my customer's telephone and pull from the customer file as well. So I'll click save, and then I can update my preview, and we can see that it's now added the telephone. If you'd like to create a brand new field that's not currently in use, you can see inside the blocks there's all these red circles. They have a green plus in the middle of them. If you click on that, it allows you to create a different field custom to you and add it to your layout. So I can use the drop down to select whether it's a text line, meaning I just want to add a little bit of information when I'm placing the order. A text field will allow you to add a lot more characters. If it's permanent defined text like a headline or a title, I can enter in the text in here as well, or dynamic field gives me the list of dynamic fields to pull from. So if I wanted to add a text line, I can then call this, maybe I want to call it quote number or version number, let's say that. Version number, and I could say to show the field name yes, and then I would say version, we'll say V2. And once again, this standard value, this just gives it a placeholder inside the order, but you can erase this and change it in the order sheet. And you can choose to have it filled out and make it mandatory or not. When I click save and I update my preview, I can see that that new version number is placed above the booking order ID. So it'll allow me to track that within the system as well. So that's how you're going to create your layouts and edit everything. You can get pretty detailed into what you want to do. And then once again, take your time. This can be the most confusing part, but take your time and go through it. Make sure all your paperwork is set up properly. Next, we'll talk about the product display tab where you can edit the actual product section. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at info@rentaltrax.com. You can always follow us on facebook.com/rentaltrax. And that's where we're going to post all our new how-to videos and keep you updated to the changes to the system. Or you can check us out online at www.rentaltrax.com.